Coming in at number 4, Shawn Michaels versus Bret the Hitman Hart. This started off as a fairly standard feud. Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart both had similar roots. They both came into WWE as tag team performers, and they would cross paths. You know, the Hart Foundation would feud with the Rockers, and they would also be aligned with each other. But it really it got interesting when both guys split apart and got off on their own. You had Bret Hart win the Intercontinental title, and then Shawn Michaels turned heel on Marty Jannetty and got off on his own. And at that point, you had Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels really begin their singles feud against each other. You would have the Intercontinental title matches. You would have a ladder match. I think the first actual ladder match in WWE was Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart in '92. And then they had the match at Survivor Series where they would go from being feuding over the Intercontinental title, and all of a sudden they were feuding for the WWE title. So it was a huge change. You know, the two of them went from being in the mid-card to the main event, and it was really a turning point in WWE. You know, it went from the Hulk Hogan era to an era where you had more athletic guys at the top of the card. And Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, you know, two top-notch athletes going in there and just having incredible matches. But not just the feud on television, but the feud behind the scenes. I mean, this feud really began to become very intense when it was revisited in '96, '97, because a lot of real-life tension was spilling over to television. I mean, life was art was imitating life, and that's what happened here. And things that these guys really felt about each other was being expressed on television. And you had the Iron Man match at WrestleMania, and that's when you really saw the animosity begin. You know, both guys were feuding over Vince's affection and wanting to be the number one guy in the company. And then finally, it all came to a head. Survivor Series, Montreal, the screw job. And that was a match that people still talk about. Perhaps the most famous ending to a match in wrestling history. And it was the end of a very personal feud between those two. And certainly one of the greatest.